deficit, $1.7 trillion in 2 years. Nobody's ever done it. Cut the debt at 1.7. Generates income, it generates growth.
Yesterday, President Joe Biden gave a speech on the state of the economy, which I'm going to be sharing with you here in just a second. But take a look at some of the articles that came out from that yesterday. Biden repeats misleading claims that he cut America's budget deficit by $1.7 trillion. A liberal Washington Post fact checker previously awarded Biden a bottomless Pinocchio for his claims. And I've actually heard this mentioned by a couple of people now saying Biden has cut the deficit, which is not true whatsoever. And we can take a look here at the official website for the national deficit, and you can see there has not been a cut to the deficit since back in 2001. And you can see that we've actually added to the deficit year over year. Last year, 2022, an add of $1.38 trillion to the deficit. Now, there is a reduction, but we would have to add an asterisk to that because the previous years we had the pandemic and we had stimulus packages which sent our deficit soaring because we needed massive spending to pull us through that pandemic. But you can see prior to the pandemic, we're actually still up in our deficit additions. Now, yesterday, like I said, I'm going to be sharing with you the ending of his speech, some of the highlights that he had, but Joe Biden's Bidenomics tour, a risky bet as the job market cracks. Now, yesterday, there was a lot of speculation the job market was going to be coming in really strong, and there was concerns that this meant that our economy was still too hot. The Federal Reserve would need to hike up rates even further, which they're still planning to do. But today, the jobs report came in and actually was soft. And there's concern still that our economy is not heading in the right direction. People are still hurting, still need assistance. There are still unaddressed promises and issues by the Biden administration. And a lot of people are starting to say, take a look at this, just coming out today, step aside Joe Biden. The president has no business running the office at his age. And also, they're saying he's just not taking care of the American people. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, we know that former President Donald Trump is going to be running again. Is there any other candidates that you would recommend? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Or do you think that Biden is actually doing a decent job and that he should stay the course? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, you guys. But I'm going to dive into the latest on the state of our economy, how this is going to be impacting us, and what they're saying about Bidenomics and what's taking place right now. Now, also, Social Security, stimulus. I'm keeping you up to date on everything. Stick around to the end for some more updates on that. But let's go ahead and dive right in. And before we do me a quick favor, smash the like button if you appreciate the updates. Just takes a second, helps me out a ton. Thank you so much. Hit subscribe to stay up to date. Why not? It's totally free. I'll keep you up to date on everything. And with that being said, though, let's go ahead and dive right in.
Let me close with this. I'm not here to declare victory on the economy. I'm here to say we have a plan that's turning things around quickly, but we have a lot more work to do. When I came to office, we had a fundamental decision to make. Would we continue down the trickle-down economic path, the policy that's failed us time and again, that grew inequality, that saw jobs shipped overseas, towns hollowed out? When I ran, I promised we would not continue down the trickle-down path. But here's the simple truth about trickle-down economics. It represented a moment when we walked away from how this country was built. Bidenomics is just another way of saying restoring the American dream. 40 years of trickle-down limited the dream to those at the top. But I believe that every American willing to work hard should be able to get a good job no matter where they live.
All right, so as always, link in the description below to this article that just came out today that says Joe Biden's Bidenomics tour is a risky bet as job market cracks, as we're hearing that Biden is trying to run his re-election campaign on the economy, and a lot of people are saying they are done with his economic policies, that they have been a disaster, and now he's running on Bidenomics, and people are saying, we do not want any part of it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but let's take a look at what he's saying. Poor President Biden. Just as he ramps up his Bidenomics pitch to voters, the jobs market gets shaky. Worse, analysts are beginning to question whether those outside job numbers celebrated by the White House in recent months are even real. Wow. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think that some of the numbers and projections that have been coming out are misleading, kind of like how we heard about him cutting the deficit? Some validation of those doubts appeared in disappointing June employment reports, which contained substantial downward revisions of April and May's totals. Now, a wobbly jobs picture. Only 209,000 jobs were added last month, fewer than expected, and far below below the 278,000 added on average over the past 6 months, is just one of several reasons that the president's current Bidenomics tour may end badly. Now, first, most economists expect the country to slide into recession between now and the elections in November of 2024. The minutes of the Federal Reserve's last meeting show the staff calling for a mild recession later this year in 2023. Some of the members look for unemployment to reach 5% by next year, up from 3.6% today. How will Biden's pitch go over with voters when unemployment is rising and people are being thrown out of work, just as this administration has shown itself tin-eared about the pain caused by 40-year high inflation? Ignoring a slump in hiring will not go down well. And we had seen this before. There were warnings about the additional spending taking place, and we had heard them say inflation will just be transitory. It'll be a slight bump up, were the exact words of President Joe Biden. And now we're hearing it's actually what they're calling sticky, which means this is not going away anytime soon. And as a result, the Federal Reserve is saying they're prepared to do what is necessary, which means increasing interest rates, putting pressure on businesses, which will result in a lot of people losing their jobs and being in financial devastation. Now, second, sticky inflation. The fact that prices are still going up, albeit at a slower pace, means the Federal Reserve is not done hiking interest rates. Already, the country has endured one of the most rapid rate hike cycles in history. And as you guys know, it is not necessarily the increase in rates, but it is the speed at which it takes place. And since this is going at a record pace, that is why there is so much pressure. And we're beginning to see some of these things start to crack. Wall Street's top-rated economist, Ed Hyman, has warned clients many times in recent months that such an upward trajectory of interest rates almost always causes a financial or economic shock, like the collapse of long-term capital management in 1998. This year saw 3 of the biggest bank failures in American history. Hyman suggests more disruptions could occur. That will be on Biden's plate. Third, and conceivably most threatening to Biden's hopes, those much ballyhooed job gains may not be real, and the employment picture may not be as solid as it looks. If in the coming months the numbers are revised sharply lower, Republican opponents will have a field day. Indeed, we may have seen some indication of that in the June reports, in which the jobs total for April and May was revised lower by 110,000. Now, several analysts have been warning of just such downward revisions, and that tight jobs market is softer than it looks. Now, among those highlighting doubts about the job figures and about hiring overall is the Federal Reserve. In the just released minutes from the most recent Federal Open Market Committee meeting on June 13th and 14th, participants noted that some measures of employment, such as those based on the Bureau of Labor Statistics Household Survey, the quarterly census of employment and wages, or the board staff measures of private employment using data from the payroll processing firm ADP, suggested that job growth may have been weaker than indicated by the payroll employment. And that is exactly what we saw. Those comments echo a recent report by Bloomberg economist Stuart Paul, who wrote, "We think the last several months of payroll estimates will ultimately be revised down." And he suggested the revisions could total 900,000 jobs when the final figures are released in September. Paul's skepticism reflects the possibility that the Bureau of Labor Statistics is likely overestimating the increase in jobs stemming from the new business startups. Moody's economist Mark Zandi also thinks that the job numbers is overstated and that the jobs gained have actually averaged 150,000 to 200,000 per month, as opposed to the 280,000 on average reported for the past 3 months. Overall, the jobs picture has become shaky, and it may not develop as the White House hopes. Ed Hyman has repeatedly warned that everything is fine until it isn't, warning to Biden, celebrating Bidenomics is premature and could be disastrous. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let me know, do you think that Biden should just step away at this point, as we're seeing that things are not going well for the economy? We don't know what's going to be happening here in these midterm elections, and also we're hearing that there are misleading claims right now. As I mentioned to you, he did not cut the deficit, and also this is not the first time this has happened, as we actually saw the White House delete tweets that gave President Joe Biden credit for increasing Social Security when in reality it had nothing to do with him. It was the cost of living adjustment, the annual increase in Social Security as a result of 40-year high record inflation. And they're saying that he was trying to take credit for that, actually released a tweet on it, and then the White House They deleted it because they knew it was a misleading statement. Man, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, we're going to be seeing what happens because our economy, we're hearing, is not heading into good territory. As you just saw, the Federal Reserve has announced recession is likely going to be coming. And we've heard that a recession could be the #1 cause for more stimulus checks. We've had them before the pandemic. They're saying we will have them in the future. And it is going to be as a result of our economy and a recession or a depression. And they're saying that could be coming right now. Now, we will see. I will keep you up to date on stimulus and Social Security. Now, in addition to that, I've let you know that 2023 is the year of Social Security reform, we're hearing, as we do not have a lot of time. Something needs to be done to reform Social Security, as there's literally tens of millions of people that are depending on these benefits, and we're hearing they are not enough, and we're going to be running out of money, and then we're going to be having a solvency issue here very soon if Congress does not act. So, to get the latest on that, be sure to check out this video right here next, and I'll be sure to keep you up to date because, as I mentioned, there's a lot going on with the economy, Social Security, stimulus, and I'll let you know every step of the way. But you guys, that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.